All right, so now we have our part that we're going to use to create this drawing file here. So let's go ahead and go over to Inventor and start a new drawing file part. Look up here in the top left for the Inventor icon and click the drop down arrow and go to New, and then we want to create a new file from the list of templates. Now this window looks familiar. Um, Make sure you're in the metric folder. And what we've been using, because we've just been creating parts up until this point, we've been in this section. We've been using these templates. And notice that the extension is .ipt. I for inventor, PT for part. That lets you know that you have a part file. If you have multiple parts, then you can open them up in a assembly file down here, and you can actually um, assemble them together virtually. And notice the extension of these templates, .iam, I of course for inventor, and then am short for assembly. So the templates that we need are down here in this section. This is the drawing templates, and the one that we're going to use is this ANSI millimeter drawing template. And notice this extension, .idw, I for inventor, DW for drawing. ANSI is an acronym that we've seen this um, several times at this point, especially when we're adding holes and with threaded holes. ANSI is an acronym for American National Standards Institute, and they govern the standards that we use for, the like hardware, the pitch, and just make sure that if you bought hardware in one part of the country, it's going to be the same, no matter where else you buy that hardware, or even internationally, to make sure that things fit together and they work together. But anyway, let's go ahead and click create, and notice the background here gives you the title block paper, so you definitely know you're in a drawing file. And the next thing you should recognize is this ribbon. Extremely different from what you see in the drawing, in a part file. So, but just like a part file, you usually work your way from left to right. And in order to load our part on the drawing paper here, we start with base view. Make sure you're in the component tab, and the file here that you want is your three-hole block. Now, because I have it open, the three-hole block open as a part file, it's already got it loaded. But just in case, or for future reference, click this arrow, the folder here, and then look for your part, the three-hole block, and you can see the preview of what you want, and click open, and so it should now be loaded there. Now in orientation, you got several different orientations that you can choose to start with, and if you while this drawing view window is open, if you hover your mouse over here on the drawing paper, then you'll see a preview of what the orientation will be. So this is front, see bottom, you can see back, you can see isometric from the top right view, isometric from the bottom left, or excuse me, bottom right, and then bottom left. And these orientations are based on, in your original part file, how did you orient your view cube? So in the tutorial, when we were creating this part, remember we changed the front to, whenever we clicked on the front of the view cube, this is the face of the block that we're going to see. If we click top, this is the side of the block that we're going to see, and then if we click left, and so on and so on. If we go back to that original part file and change that, then and reload this part here, it's also going to affect this here. Okay? So make sure front is selected. Down here in style, make sure hidden line is selected, and then also shaded is selected. Make sure your scale in this case, well, actually, we don't want shaded for this one. Make sure scale is 1:1, and then Let's see, and then we'll go ahead and you can, once you have all your correct options checked, and then over here on the title block paper, go ahead and left click, and it'll produce your image. Now, if you have your mouse, you'll notice that it shows you previews of other images, and so this would be top view, this would be bottom view, this is left view, right view, and over here is isometric, top right. And so right now, one thing that we want is just this this front view for now. So go ahead and right click and click OK. And then next, let's go ahead and save our file. And we're going to call this, make sure I'm in the right spot. We want to call this 3-hole block. So don't worry, it's not going to mess up your part file because the extension is different. So let's say 3-hole block, and then click save. Yep. All right. Okay, so now we're ready to start adding some other views to our drawing paper here.